The Secretary of Homeland Security announced a second arrest in the shooting of an off-duty U.S. Customs and Border Protection officer. On Saturday, the officer was ambushed by two people in a New York City park and was shot in the face. Let's bring in CBS News correspondent Shanelle Kaul, who has been following the story for us. Shanelle, thank you for joining us today. Secretary Kristi Noem there, she made the announcement on the second suspect earlier. So what else did she have to say?
Hey, Mugo. Good morning. Good to see you. We just heard from federal officials earlier today holding a press conference on this incident. They now say 42-year-old off-duty CBP officer who was shot in the face and the arm during that attempted robbery in Manhattan Saturday night is expected to recover from those injuries. Authorities today, Mugo, saying the officer was in Upper Manhattan this weekend. He was sitting with a friend on the rocks along the Hudson River just before midnight when this happened. That's when they say two men rode up on a scooter. One of the men approached the officer and then revealed a firearm. When the officer realized that this is what was happening, he was being robbed, he then drew his service weapon, which of course he had on him at the time, even though he was notably off duty. The robber then fired his weapon first, and then the two men exchanged gunfire. Now, Mugo, one of those two men was detained over the weekend, and this morning, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said this is someone who entered the country illegally, she says, and had an order for deportation. Listen.
One of the suspected attackers, the one that was injured, his name is Miguel Francisco Mora Nunez, a Dominican national that was entering into this country illegally back in 2023. He was then released back into this country by the Biden administration. Miguel Francisco Mora Nunez has a rap sheet that is a mile long. He was arrested. He was charged with grand larceny and also assault. The state of Massachusetts has an active warrant out for him for armed robbery with a firearm. He also has many other charges against him, such as kidnapping and witness intimidation. There's absolutely zero reason that someone who is scum of the earth like this should be running loose on the streets of New York City.
And Mugo, after that press conference wrapped up, Noem published an update on X saying this second person of interest has now been taken into custody. We know that police were looking for him over the weekend, and that person, Mugo, has now been identified as Christian Ibarboa, also from the Dominican Republic. And Noem alleges he too entered the country illegally and also had an order for deportation.
All right, Shanelle Kaul, thank you so much for your reporting. Glad to know the officer will survive that shooting.